Hey, what's up? This is Jay Bat, and today I'm doing a review for Detective Comics issue 31, and it was released in 1939. And this tale was called Batman versus the Vampire Part 1. And it was the first of a two-part tale, which occurred over Detective Comics issue 31 and issue 32. And both of these were released in 1939. But back to issue 31 of Detective Comics. Now, in this tale, at the start of it, Batman rescues a male victim from a woman who has been hypnotized by a villain known as the Monk. But she calls him the Master Monk. But it turns out that the woman is actually the fiance of Bruce Wayne, you know, and her name is Julia Madison. She doesn't know that Bruce Wayne is actually the Batman. So Batman tells Julia to let Bruce Wayne know about what had happened. So eventually, Julia and Bruce take a trip to a doctor who is known as Dr. Trent. And then he tells her that he believes she was being hypnotized by something. So he suggests that she takes an ocean getaway. Apparently, an ocean getaway for Julie will be good for her situation. So she decides to take this ocean voyage, and secretly Bruce follows Julie with his bat gyro, which was his bat wing at the time, was bat plane, at the time. So along the way, Batman battles like the monk and a giant gorilla, and all this is why he is trying to rescue Julie. Now I thought this was interesting and it was fun getting to see a look at Batman in his early days, because this was actually his fourth issue. Because he debuted in Detective Comics 27, and this is actually 31. Actually, it was either his fifth or fourth issue. Yeah, it's his fifth issue, I believe. God knows it was issue 31, so it's kind of fun getting to see him, in his early, time. And I thought, and the idea that they called Gotham City, New York, I thought that was kind of interesting too, because there wasn't a Gotham City at the time, so they called it, New York City. And plus the idea of a dark and brooding Batman, he had like a very serious tone. I thought that was very interesting too, as well. That was very cool. I thought this was a fun tale, and the dark, brooding Batman that they had in it, was very interesting and cool. It was nice to see that he really was like that in his early days. And they had like the vehicles like the Bat Gyro. They had like his Batarang. He even had like a Boomerang Batarang. I thought this was pretty fun and interesting. There was like lots of Batman action. He was almost in every panel, which I thought was cool. And he was very hardcore and serious, and you know what I'm saying? I thought that was fun. So this is my review for Detective Comics issue 31, and this is Jay Bat. Alright. Hey, this is Jay Bat, and today I'm doing my review for Detective Comics issue 32, and this was part 2 of Batman vs. the Vampire. And this is released in 1939. Now this story continues like Batman's pursuit of the monk, and this time he ends up in Hungary. And the story opens with a speeding carriage, which Batman believes is carrying the monk, but instead it is carrying a woman called Dala inside. Now her name could be actually Dala. I don't know if it's Dala or Dala, but I believe it's Dala though. But Batman, after he takes her out the carriage, he takes her to his hotel, which is stationed in Hungary. And there she meets Julie, and Julia is the fiance of Bruce Wayne. So like eventually, Darla somehow manages to bite Julia on her neck, and then she escapes. So it turns out that Darla is actually a vampire, and she's actually with the monk. And so it turns out that the monk himself is also even like a vampire. So Batman eventually has another confrontation with the monk, who can now reveal himself to be able to change into a wolf. So Batman has like a fight for his life, like in a Wolf Den, and other sequences too. I thought this was a fun tale, and it concludes the Batman versus the Vampire tale, which was a two-part issue. Now and again, the Batman in his tale, was very dark and brooding, and he even kills in his issue. He actually kills like victims, which I thought was kind of cool and hardcore. He uses his usual gadgets too, like the battle range, smoke pallets, bat ropes, and stuff like that. And lots of Batman action too, as well. Like on every page, you see Batman almost in every panel. I thought this was a good tale, and Bob Kane did the artwork for both of these tales, and there was like various artists or whatever. The sequences were fun, and the Batman, he had like a very strong, serious tone, which I thought was unique and cool, and it was good getting a good look at him, It was nice to get a good look at how he was in his early days, of Crime Fight when they first introduced him in comics, because this was like he was still like only in his first few issues, he wasn't really that well known yet at the time. So this is J Bat, and this is my review for Detective Comics issue 32, and it was released in 1939. And this is J Bat.